Hi, Matt. What would you say are the pros and cons to management?
So managing athletes is really, really fun. It can also be really hard. There's definitely highs and lows of it. I think one of the major highs is you get to be up close and very, very personal when people achieve their dreams or hit big goals. So for me, when Stamp won by knockout in America in Colorado, that was awesome. You see me fucking dancing like an idiot because I was there the entire time. I was driving her to training, I was holding pads, I was knocking on her door, hey, come on, let's go, let's go. You know, that can also be one of the down parts because you're dealing with people. You want these people to succeed, but they don't always want to do things. And sometimes you have to use a little bit of the stick on them, and that's not always fun. So there's real pros and cons. I think the pros, helping people, the con, helping people.
Working with quite a few different athletes. Tell me a little bit about the picking the right person to work with.
Yeah, I think half of management and half of being a successful manager is picking the right athletes to work with. Because most people are going to fail, and that's okay. Failure is part of the process. But as a manager, you want to reduce your failures as much as possible and maximize your gains. It's the same in poker, it's the same in fighting. You want to get hit as least as possible while inflicting the most amount of damage. So 3 of the things that I use to sort of pick the right athletes is 1, I pick winners. That does not mean they're winning every fight, but they're winning in their fight career, they're winning in their personal life, they're just winning. I feel like past success is the best predictor of future success. 2, your mindset. So if someone complains a lot and is very negative, you just don't want to work with them. They will drag you down and they're not fun. The 3rd thing I would say is if people appreciate you, as a manager where the sport is right now, you will do a shitload of work for very little monetary reward. That's changing for sure, but right now the reward is so small monetarily that you need to have it compensated by an emotional reward. So if the athlete is not showing gratitude in the personal life, their professional life, don't work with them.
Tell me a little bit about price negotiations.
Yeah, price negotiations in Muay Thai is a relatively new topic, but we can look at other fields, and especially with creatives and how they price things, to learn how to price. So I always recommend Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference, which is a great book on negotiation. There's a couple of main things that I usually do. 1 is price anchoring. So when someone asks you a price, you give a high number first to anchor them there. They're thinking about that number. So I usually do that. Then along with that, I'll give them a range. So the cost is $1,000 to about $500. So 1,000 is the anchor, 500 is now the bottom, so it's a range in between there. Then I usually give 3 choices. The middle one is where most people will pick. So if you want more, you price higher. So it's 800. If you want a little less or you're okay with less, you're looking at a more budget person, it's 600. And by doing this, you can control the price, which is in your hands always. And those are a couple of things that I've learned about pricing. I would say that most athletes right now, if you are watching this, you probably don't have that much leverage in pricing because you're probably not worth it. No offense. Sort of.
Just stress it when it comes to management.
Yeah, obviously managing athletes can be very stressful. So one of the big things I do is I come to the pub. I like to come to pubs about once or twice a week and have 3 or 4 beers. I love draft beer. I also love pub atmosphere. It's nice and quiet. I like to read. I'll do work here. I'll film YouTubes. Pubs are fucking where it's at.
A little bit about your contract negotiations.
Yeah, again, contract negotiations is new in Muay Thai, and it's something that's developing. But there's things that we can learn from other sports and other athletes. So I think the biggest thing about negotiation is leverage. Most athletes don't have leverage because they don't create it for themselves. There are athletes that do. I think Yusuf Bonahim does a fantastic job negotiating his contracts. When he works with a new promotion, he requires a deposit. Then he gets a majority of his payment after passing weigh-in. This, however, is because Yusuf has basically every single belt in the fucking world. So he's able to negotiate that because he has leverage. The best way to leverage for current athletes is a social media following. A lot of athletes do not have very big social media followings. Myself, I have 20,000 followers. That is not that big in the grand scheme of things. You look at football players, basketball players, baseball players, their media following is much more, and they're able to leverage that following in contract negotiations.
Impacts on management now.
Social media has a big impact on management and your career. I want to tell you 3 stories. One, I was standing outside of Lumpini, and I said to Rob Cox, who was eating a toastie at the time, "Hey Rob, did you see Natalie Morgan's profile?" "Oh, Lady Killface," he said as he ate another bite of his toastie. Yeah, that's her." "Oh, how many followers does she have on Instagram?" 10,000. "Oh, that's pretty good," he said as he finished his toastie. So that was a big lesson right there for me. 2, I'm riding with Super Bond to a press conference for one championship. And Super Bond says to me, "You know, Matt, one championship will take you from an 8 to a 10. They will take you from pretty high up even more. They will not, however, take you from a 0 to a 3, a 0 to an 8. They just don't have the time. They don't have the resources. They're looking for guarantees. If they're spending that much money on you, they're looking to maximize it." The 3rd story, I was talking to Ply, who is the president of One Lumpini out here in Thailand. He says to me, "Matt, there's 400 athletes on the One Championship roster. We have slots for about 40. We look at the social media numbers. Stamp, you're the most popular. Fight. Ratan, you're very popular. Fight. Super Bond, fight. Matt Lucas, 20,000 followers. We'll get to you when we get to you." So I think, I talked about it before, social media followings is a big leverage point. It's also very impactful for your career about who is going to be picked to fight next.
Give to athletes working with management.
So write it down. Verbal agreements are always nice, but if it's not written down, it's really not an agreement. So I'm not saying that people are dodgy or anything, but the easiest way is to write things down and to make sure you're clear about everything, which is the second most important part. If it's not clear, it's not worth doing. The agreement should be, in my opinion, should be very simple. You do Y, you get Z. I do A, you get B. The 3rd thing is your journey as an athlete should go together with the managers. Their success should be your success as well. You want a manager that is growing with you, and through that, you are basically ensured of having a good career.
What would you give to athletes about post-fight career plans?
Yeah, your career as an athlete can end at any time. You could get injured really badly. You could be too old. Your life circumstances can also happen, so you never know when it's going to end. But you can do things during your career to set yourself up for a very good post-career. And a lot of these things will also help you in your career. So building a strong media following can lead into having some sort of influencer post-career. Learning about the rules while you are fighting can help you in the ring, and then also transition you into a ref or a ref or a judge. You learn about the business. It will help you with your contract negotiations. You can become a promoter afterwards. And of course, becoming a coach or gym owner are very standard choices as well. And I think that athletes should at least have in mind some sort of post-fight career plan or steps that they can take to deliver themselves further along the road. The world of management is growing for the sport. It's growing for Muay Thai, and I think we can learn a lot from other sports like baseball, football. This is something I've said before, and also other games, backgammon, poker, Go. If you understand how games are played, you can play the game of Muay Thai better. I'm updating my book on fighting in Thailand, so if there are things that you are interested in learning about, definitely contact me and let me know. Thank you so much.